Seeing a lot of our athletes walking around barefoot. We have more courage than me to walk around barefoot at a public place like this. Brown County actually in lane 9 looks like they're off to a pretty good start. I guess it's a 3-turn stagger though. So it's kind of hard to tell who's going to be in the lead until they break on the back stretch. You get an idea from the handoffs. Westfield's in lane 1. I believe Northrop's in, or sorry, Gary West. Similar jerseys to Northrop in 2. Columbus North in 3. Very good leadoff here on the outside legs by Brown County, and I believe that's Bloomington South.
Seymour. Seymour is the other leg, and then not Bloomington
Seymour.
South.
The exact same uniform as Bloomington South.
So Seymour will have the early lead, it appears, in this first heat.
Seymour, Brown County, and Columbus North. What it is,
looks like
Southern Indiana.
Columbus North will take the lead here off this cut-in, although Westfield is also making a strong push here.
We didn't think enough about that stagger out in lane 9.
Yeah.
So it's Westfield, Columbus North, 2 cross-country powers. Gary West now making their way up to the lead. Not typically known for cross-country strength. 600 meters into it. It's Westfield, Columbus North. Gary West now making a bid for the lead. Into the final stretch here, the second leg. Westfield, Gary West, side by side. Columbus North right in there. See if she can swing out wide. This is Rachel Salmon, who was 4th in the 1600. Gary West going to hand off in the lead. Looks like Westfield and Columbus North in a dead heat. A big leg by Gary West at 2.
They were through in about 2 flat there.
59-9 for Columbus North. So right at 2
This is
flat
a big
for the
first heat relay.
Yeah, I mean, typically if you can break 4 minutes, a lot of times you can medal. Last year, teams ran 4 flat and medaled. So see if we can maybe get some medalists out of this heat. It's a big year in the 4x4. Gary West, Columbus North, and Westfield down the backstretch. See if we can sneak a podium team out of this heat. 28 seconds low for both of those 2 lead teams. See how they can hold up. Gary West starting to edge away from North and Westfield onto this final stretch. Gary West lengthening their lead. Gary West looks really tough here, Steve.
Yeah, this is going to be a very impressive time out of slow heat. I alluded to the Gary West boys team from a couple of years back that won out of the first heat. Not that these girls are going to win out of this heat, but this is going to be a massive time, it looks like. Assuming that they have their strongest runner on the anchor, which is traditional.
They were under 3 minutes through the 4th leg, so if their last girl can break 60 seconds, they're putting themselves in great position to medal. And who knows, if we get a 57, 58-second quarter from these girls, I believe that's Brianna Smith from Westfield, who has been a 400-meter state finalist, maybe even a medalist. Quinn Schultz of Columbus North really making her way up down the backstretch. Gary West, Columbus North getting out very, very fast for the first 200. We'll see how well they can run this last 200. Gary West, Columbus North, and Westfield. Brown County running very well there in 4th. So these are going to be some fast times here in this heat. We might get a medalist out of this heat, Steve.
You probably should mark these times because this could come down and help decide the team state champion.
We've got a 3:58.
3:58.
And 4:01.19, so 4:01.2. And we are off the second heat of the 4x400 here at the state finals. You're live on IHSAASports.org, brought to you by the staff of IndianaRunner.com. Second to last race. If you're just now tuning in, stay put. Got a good meet for you.
Good timing.
Stay with us for the last 5 minutes, well, 10 minutes, as Franklin Central quickly making up the stagger out of lane 1. They're a team that could certainly medal out of this heat. Hard to kind of tell what is happening as we just kind of pan out here. We're not going to know until they break on the backstretch on the second leg. Franklin Central does look good. West Lafayette looks good as well. Franklin Central appears to have made up the stagger on a lot of their teams on their outside already. We can kind of see by who hands off first. So see if we can get an eye on that, Steve.
Looks like middle lane there.
Yeah, out in 5. They look good. That would
South
be
Bend Adams.
Adams, very
Way
good
out.
track program.
Now it's easy to tell.
Wow, huge lead by Adams. Adams is going to break first. Carroll and Franklin Central, two very good cross-country programs right there as well. So it's Adams, Franklin Central, Carroll, West Lafayette. Fisher's in there as well. Munster up toward the leaders. They're starting to close down here on South Bend Adams. See if Franklin Central can overtake them here on the curve. Carroll making a move as well. West Lafayette in the all-white uniforms right there. And now it's Franklin Central retaking the lead in the red uniforms.
And West Lafayette coming in second, right up on their shoulder in white.
Second exchange, FC with half a step on West Lafayette. Franklin Central. West Lafayette's got a slight lead now. West Lafayette, Franklin Central, back to Carroll, South Bend Adams. Those are kind of teams that we would say are in it to finish on the podium, in it to get a medal here.
We'll see where they come through here on this third split.
They were about 158, so
well ahead of pace.
357, so that's ahead of pace on Gary West. You got to think you're going to run probably your slowest leg third and your fastest leg on the anchor. Here we go. We've got FC, West Lafayette. Carroll now making a move around the backside, or the far stretch. She's making a move like Kaylee McClanahan did in the 3200. Carroll,
seems to be working.
Franklin Central, West Side now moving up. They could all hand off in a dead heat. A good solid kick here by West Lafayette. West Lafayette has run very well over the last 50 meters on each leg. West Lafayette's going to hand off in the lead. Not a very good handoff.
But through in 257.
West Lafayette, Franklin Central, Fort Wayne, Carroll. These are the three teams that are going to contend for podium spots. They could all do it, or none of them could do it. We're going to have to see how the fast heat plays out. Franklin Central now taking the lead down the backstretch. Carroll's going to follow and go right around West Side. Or not. West Lafayette holding them off. FC, West Lafayette, Carroll down the backstretch. With 200 meters to go now, it is Franklin Central, West Lafayette, Carroll, all within a second of each other. West Lafayette has closed very, very well in the last 50 meters, so we're going to see if that holds up here as well, because if so, they're going to power past Franklin Central. Franklin Central making the move now. West Lafayette goes up to cover it. Obviously, very strong 400 training program at West Lafayette. They have closed very, very strong here. It looks like West Side's going to win this heat. Carroll's going to come up and challenge Franklin
54,
Central.
55, 56, 57. Three teams around 57.